This week is our final inspection, which passed, and our green tag. So very important to get this green tag. This is what all builders strive for when they're trying to complete the home. So that way they can either get it sold or get it rented out. So we're here today in Mansfield, Texas at one of the most amazing developments going on in Mansfield right now. It's the South Point community. I've got my realtor hat on today, so I'm showing the new construction home for one of my buyers who's building with Tri Pointe Homes. So this home is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom with multiple living areas over 2,000 square feet. It backs up to the school, and it's just on a great 50-foot lot. One of the things I wanted to show you today is just some of the things that are going on the inside. So I'm standing right now in the kitchen. You notice there's a lot of wiring coming out of the ceiling and in the walls. There's plumbing lines coming out of the floors, and there's ductwork run. Well, where the house is right now is in the rough-in stage. So when the rough-in stage is being commenced, what's happening is the electricians are running all the plugs, all the wiring to the electric panel box. The plumbers are coming in and making sure that their rough-in underground plumbing that they've done underground has been set. And then the air conditioning company is coming in and running all the duct work and putting the air handling unit in the attic. So that way the vents are run down to each room, and so they can have everything in place before they put the walls in and seal everything up. So this is the rough-in stage. You see a lot of this in new construction before walls are completed. So you're just getting a closer look right now at this stage. So another thing about the rough-in stage is, to get to the rough-in stage, you have to be what's considered dried in. Being dried in means that the roof is on, the sheathing, the exterior sheathing or exterior border, pre-brick or pre-siding has been put in place. So that way, if there is a rain or some type of moisture or stuff in the air, that it doesn't get on the inside of the home. Couple types of sheathing that you'll see on a lot of new construction these days is the zip system. Zip systems typically put in more areas where you see more wear and tear, more stress, maybe from heat or from moisture. So you'll see them a lot of times in patios or over the garages. Over the rest of the house, it's usually like a thermoply. It's just a different, more energy efficient radiant barrier sheathing system that they use. Both of them are very easy to install. The zip system's a little bit more cost efficient. The thermoply is a little bit more expensive because it has a little bit higher rating and holds pretty good. So just two different things that you'll see on the outside when you're seeing new construction being completed: sheathing, different systems. So another thing you'll see after the house has been dried in by their sheathing is the brick ties. Brick ties, consider those fasteners for brick and stone accents around the exterior of the home. Usually when you're doing new construction, you get the opportunity to choose a different elevation, meaning how the front of the home looks. There's either all brick, all stone, or a combination of both. Well, these brick ties or wall ties are fasteners that will hold those bricks or stones in place to the patterns that the masons put on the wall. So that way you don't have the bricks coming loose or the stiles being uneven as they're trying to install them on the exterior of the home. So that's fasteners. That's what these silver things look like, and that's, you know, a little bit of building 101 on the exterior. So right now at the rough-in stage, after we've been dried in, we're typically at this point about 60 to 75 days away from the home being completed. Once the home is completed, typically what you're doing is going through a walkthrough and then finalizing your loan or your cash process, so that way you can close on the property. So that's usually another couple of weeks. So this home is probably about 3.5 months out from everything being complete. So we're back in Alvarado, Texas at our Brown Street new construction project. It's super hot outside, so I'm so happy that this one is done because the air conditioning is blowing and it's nice and cool inside. Today we're gonna just talk about the finish outs that we've done. The home is actually finished. The only thing we're waiting on is just a deep cleaning. we'll do that right before somebody actually closes on the property. But what we've gone through this week is our final inspection, which passed, and our green tag. Our green tag gives us our certificate of occupancy, meaning somebody can now come in, purchase the home, and occupy and live in the home. So very important to get this green tag. This is what all builders strive for when they're trying to complete the home. That way they can either get it sold or get it rented out. When an inspector comes through and he's looking to pass on a final inspection, one of the things they're looking for right off the bat is plumbing. They want to make sure that your plumbing lines are all put in correctly, that they're draining the right way. They want to make sure that there's no leaks or anything like that inside or outside in the cleanouts. They'll test everything, make sure your tub's holding water, make sure that everything is performing as intended. They'll look at all of your doors, make sure there's no airflow coming through. They'll look at your flooring, make sure there's no buckling. They just give it one good look over at the end of the line to make sure that there's no remaining items. They're a real stickler these days for landscaping on the outside, making sure you've got a mailbox outside, things like that, making sure your fence is completed. So we're able to get through that final inspection and get to this point where now we can actually have someone move into the home. So with this home, when we started this home, the market was still pretty decent, but it was kind of slowing down a little bit. Now it's coming to almost like a screeching, hey, slam on the brakes, where we've transitioned from a seller's market to a buyer's market. What does that mean? That means buyers have tons of options and they're not really in a hurry. And so on the new construction side, a home like this, in this price point below $300,000 is considered a starter home for our area. So one of the things affecting this home, or why it hasn't sold already, is the last interest rate hike. Typically when we started this home, the interest rates were in the 4s and 5s, and now they're in the 6s, 7s, in some cases 8%. So when a buyer comes and looks for a home, typically a first-time home buyer, they're trying to keep that mortgage right above where the rent level is, which is $1,800 is usually the top end of the rent market for this area. They're trying to stay right above that to own a home. Well, in today's market, with today's interest rate, that number's significantly higher. You're inching up closer to $2,500 to $3,000 a month. So buyers are very cautious about what they're buying, when they're buying. They're taking their time to make a decision, which affects how fast this house can come off the market.